Is it another person, or are we searching for ourselves through other people? This is quite a big question, but I want to start off with that because immediately we are going into my view of dating process itself, which usually comes off as auditioning for a role that you never really signed up for. Now there is two people who are quite often just performing and not being in their presence. And when people ask me about dating and how to go about it, I like to give an example of sales and the market. Now, I know that it may come off as a little bit vain, but I want you to be the best of yourself when you are meeting new people, and you don't have to take your past with you in these dates, in these connections. So think of yourself as the product who is on the market. And if market decides your value, then what would you want to see on your feedback? If there would be a page of feedback for you as a partner, what do you really want to read from there? Because it makes you think how others see you, and do you even really connect with people, or you keep it like vain and more on the performance side? Now, I was a sales setter for some months, and it really gave me the knowing that when I'm in presence, when I'm curious, when I'm asking open questions and I show my interest, then the client is interested as well. It goes both ways. When you want someone to be interested in you, you have to know what is interesting about yourself. This is not something to shy away from or keep it to yourself, but really write down your strengths and keep your weaknesses to your own knowing for some time. You have to play on your strengths when it comes to dating. And we all have weaknesses. They are not like non existent, but just keep that in mind. And this is what makes dating as a play, as something that is fun rather than being like this hard work and a job interview, which you also maybe didn't want to apply for. I think it's a really good example to give you when it comes to polarity as well. Because when it comes to interviews, we ask these questions about our past and what we have done so far. Now, how exactly is it connected with your new person? It actually is not. And what I want to pressure on is creating more polarity, knowing your feminine strengths, knowing your masculine strengths, and just going about it to really work on these dynamics and create this kind of emerging. Now, in the literal sense, it could be that as a feminine, you learn more about seduction, about magnetizing, about attracting, and about communicating with the masculine. I really hope that you take this time to discover your expression. I mentioned it in the last video how in today's modern world we are quite self-obsessed and we are afraid to express, because only this way people understand who we really are and how to connect with us. They will read the clues, and you don't want to be the woman who is like full of mystery and never opens herself up, because it will pay you big time. You will most likely end up quite lonely, and even when you are with someone, you won't have this long lasting attraction, which a lot of people don't have, especially in marriages. Most likely they got together because of something for survival, or was it pre-planned? There is many options, but I know that it's possible to fall in love again and again and again if you know what to do, if you know your dynamic well. Secondly, let's get into connecting from woundedness, which means that we go into dating with this kind of idea that we are broken, or we haven't found someone, or we are already late. Now, I want you to know that the timing is something that we can't control. It is on God's time, and we have to follow it, we have to trust it, and we really have to keep our faith in this matter and begin to see ourselves as a whole, not from a wounded perspective. Even if you think of this mindset of victims, now what do? They usually project to others what has happened to them. Now, when you go with this mindset into dating, you will usually project your fears, your insecurities, and your past on the other person. And you may think that he or she is avoidant or anxious or whatever the case may be. But inherently, people need to feel safe with you. And this starts from yourself, of course. So take time, don't rush into relationships. Begin to build trust if needed, brick by brick. Nothing that lasts long is built in a day. You know the saying how it goes, that Rome was not built with a day. And this can be applied to relationships as well. You could really feel how you connect with the other person, if your values are the similar, and how do you see the mission why you came together. Now this is like the extra. If you get it, then you get it, and if you want more expansion on it, you can always ask about it in the comments. But practice trust rather than rushing, rather than attachment. And I used to be quite sensitive person. I am not that much anymore, because I have trained my boundaries. I have came to knowing of myself and my values and my qualities and my strengths and weaknesses, all this kind of jazz. And I know that I can take my time. There is no rush to go and live together, to like create kids, to do whatever it takes. Society since have a relationship. Now the only relationship you have is between two people. Everything else is just a byproduct of that connection. Let's bring here the coffee dates, which are always in discussion. And in my opinion, why do you want to go on a 3 hour or half a day date with someone who you don't even know, who you may not even match? Now, there are some cases which that may not be the thing if you have had FaceTime before or you're in long distance relationship. There is many different options, but usually you can go on this 30-minute coffee date and have a short chit chat about how did you meet each other, why are you looking for someone, what are your like future goals, something like this, and what do you do at this time in your life, like where are you at the moment. And this doesn't have to be in a fancy restaurant, just to connect with someone. And I can also say from my experience that the best dates have been just these ones. Not in the fancy restaurants where we have to perform that we are these elegant people, which we are and which we strive to be. But this is not what is most important in the long term. When you will have doubts, when you will have moments of weaknesses, when you have loss, whatever it may be, what matters is these short moments. And you will already know if this is something that you want to go further from this time. So yeah, I know that some women, they don't even accept coffee dates, but I have done it and I have been on many dates. It's not like only these ones. There's been many adventures, but essentially these have been the most heartfelt in my experience. How I would like to finish up today is saying to you that femininity is not about being agreeable, but being magnetic, which attracts devotion. If you agree on everything, then you won't have a strong polarity, and this connection will eventually fade, or there will be some weird dynamics that you won't want to create from the beginning. And also think about your friends. If you have people in your life who you could share different opinions, not only things that you agree on, so they could expand your mind and your heart and your worldview in this sense. And also who could call you out on things that you maybe are uncomfortable to do or afraid to say out loud. Most of the deepest friendships that I have always come down to this one trait, that we are not afraid to challenge each other. We are not enemies, but we just care about the things that you know are important. Just we are all human and we come off short. So yeah, I really want to really analyze your circle and think about it just a little bit. And nobody has to be left out. You don't have to burn the bridges right away, but you may start to bring these topics on the table. And gossip is something that I would highly, highly stay away from. Now, dating apps. What about these apps? I think they give you an illusion of abundance, which is not the case. Everything abundant is in the real world. I would highly suggest to take quality over quantity, just as anything else in your life. And the apps are not a problem. Our own self concept is. Now, what I teach women is to learn about their self concept and learn how to structurize what they are really wanting to create for their life and especially for their love life, to move from praying over aesthetics and over these examples what we see on social media and start to come into the presence of aligning with the person who is the best for you and who is meant for you. And this is not always an easy process, because it is easy to pray over the aesthetics. It is easy to create these vision boards. But the real work starts of embodiment. Yeah, I hope you got some tips and a new ways of seeing dating. And see you next time.